Hello and welcome back to another classic TBC video. Today we are talking about the Paladin class, and more specifically we are talking about why Paladins are good for farming gold in the Burning Crusade. I think this is probably going to be the most popular class for gold farming in the Burning Crusade, simply because they are kinda the new mages of Classic WoW, with the AoE target cap that came in, which Paladins are kind of immune to because this AoE target cap doesn't affect the consecration, nor does it affect their auras. Basically, Paladins have a great toolkit for doing massive AoE pulls, and have several different gold farming possibilities in the Burning Crusade. Some of which I'll mention in this video to give you guys an idea of where to farm. Here are the basics. Protection Paladins pretty much becomes the new mages of Classic WoW in the Burning Crusade, at least for now. Protection Paladins, once they have enough defensive rating and block value, can pull massive amounts of enemies and keep themselves alive, while slowly hacking away at the enemy health with their melee attacks, consecration, and their auras that basically deal damage to enemies attacking you. As you get better and better geared, more farms and bigger pulls become available to you, as the amount of mobs you're able to handle is directly related to how well geared you are, because you won't be able to cheese mob paths as much as a prot paladin as you could as a mage in Classic WoW. Basically, you can't do the massive 500 mob pulls and not take any damage. You're most likely going to tank and spank the mobs. There will of course maybe be some potential mob pathing abuse you can use to trick mobs into running back and forth inside your concentration, or consecration, on the ground, but every 10 seconds you have to jump into the mobs to refresh the consecration anyway. I think Protection Paladins will be pretty popular early in TBC, and will probably be extremely popular later in the Burning Crusade, as I think they will be the new boosting class that will be used in both TBC dungeons and Classic dungeons, so there are many possibilities here. Let's start off with a pretty low barrier to entry farm, and one I think will be extremely popular early in TBC. Farming the Black Moras. Going in here as a Protection Paladin, pulling as many beasts as possible and skinning them, will be really lucrative. These spiders have an incredibly high drop chance of netherweb spider silk, which is used in multiple tailoring crafts, most notably every single tailoring set, for the tailoring specialization, like the Primal Mooncloth Armor, Spellfire set, and Frozen Shadowy set, all of which are best in slot armor sets, and people will definitely overpay for these items in the beginning. This makes farming netherweb spider silk extremely profitable in the early stages of TBC, and this farm right here is instanced, which means no competition for mobs, which is really valuable early in a new expansion where every open world gold farm is crowded. By being a Protection Paladin and grabbing skinning, you can also play your class's strengths, which is pulling multiple mobs. That way you can pull both spiders and regular beasts inside the dungeon, and skin the skinnable beast for some extra gold as well. Seriously, don't underestimate how profitable this farm will be early in TBC. I also want to let you guys know that I've managed to secure you guys a 50% off code on what I think is the best gold making guide for TBC Classic, which you can find a link to in the description and the pinned comment. So far, this gold making guide has 80 pages of pure gold making information. It is incredibly in-depth, and by purchasing the guide you will also get all of the updates for free, as Student will keep improving and updating the guide before TBC comes out and during TBC as well. So if you want a guide that shows you everything you need to know about gold farming and gold making, go check it out, the link in the description, and use code Solheim at checkout to save 50%. Paladins can also AoE farm in the open world, most notably outside the Black Temple, as you can pull tons of enemies there, but pretty much anywhere in the open world where you have several enemies available there are farming possibilities as a Protection Paladin. Another really popular gold farm as a Paladin is farming Stratholm or Skolemans for those dark runes, as they will still be useful in the Burning Crusade as well, and because of inflation they might end up going up in price as well. And if you bring enchanting, you can also disenchant blues for large brilliant shards while farming the dark runes, and large brilliant shards are used in crafting the Brilliant Wizard Oil, which is also used by every caster except Shadow Priests in the Burning Crusade, so they will also be useful. This is also where I think boosting will become popular, as Protection Paladins can also bring some people in the level 45 to 59 range into their Stratholm and Skolemans runs to give them experience while farming, which makes this a really lucrative type of gold farm. Aside from that, Dreadfang Lurkers farming in the Terracar Forest can also be done at great efficiency by Protection Paladins, simply because there are so many Lurkers available, and you can easily pull 5 or more Lurkers in one pull. And these Lurkers can also drop the Netherweb Spider Silk that I mentioned earlier in the video, as well as Dreadfang Venom Sacs, which are a reputation item needed for the Aldor and Scryer's reputations. Also, any skinning gold farm will be very good for Protection Paladins as long as they are able to pull a massive amount of mobs in one pull, for them to skin them all and sell the leather. And there are many different unique skinning gold farms in TBC that I'll make videos on later, but just know that a Protection Paladin with, for example, skinning and enchanting can farm a ton of unique gold farms. One more thing that gives Protection Paladins a somewhat edge and a way to make gold long term in TBC Classic is simply tanking dungeons. If you get yourself, for example, mining and enchanting, and reserve any unwanted loot for yourself to disenchant, and also reserve mining veins for yourself, you can make some semi-passive gold while doing dungeons, which can actually turn out to be quite lucrative. I didn't want to bring this up because someone might think it's scummy to reserve items, and I completely understand that. But let's say you're a new player in TBC and you start 1 year into TBC, and you want to run a dungeon like Mana Tombs to get yourself some gear. At this point it might be very difficult to find a tank, and if you're a mage without mining, having a tank that reserves mining veins for himself doesn't really matter at all. All that guy is doing is reserving items that people don't want or don't need, and if you want those mining veins for yourself, just don't join the group, it's that simple. I think being a Protection Paladin and using something like this to make some gold will be very helpful to the community, as it makes it much easier to find tanks, as well as the fact that that Paladin will be able to make some gold as well, and Protection Paladins can tank dungeons really fast once they're fully geared, so it's a semi-boosting service. It's not like this will make you millions of gold, or even a lot of gold for that matter, but if you're a raider or just a casual player that don't want to go out of your way to actually farm gold, but you still want to make some gold, this method can be quite useful, and I just wanted to bring it up. So I guess a quick summary is that Paladins are great at AoE farming. They can farm primals and several other mobs that drop interesting items, as well as skinning gold farms. Pretty much any farm where you're able to pull many mobs in one pull. On top of that, Paladins will also most likely be the new boosting meta class, if boosting meta becomes a thing in Classic TBC, just like it did in Classic WoW. So there you have it guys, a quick little video talking about Paladins and why they are good for gold farming in TBC. I am planning on leveling up a Paladin myself in TBC Classic, so if you're interested in seeing Paladin specific gold farms when I get to test those out, make sure you subscribe to the channel as I will have several of those videos coming out in the future. And hey, if you enjoyed the video, why not give it a thumbs up as well. And that is pretty much it for now guys, thank you so much for watching and I will see you again very soon.